Standard 12 Chemistry, Unit 14, Biomolecules, Part 1. Biomolecules is directly concerned with the living systems, and the living system made up of various complex biomolecules like carbohydrates, protein, nucleic acid, lipids, etc. Here we will discuss about biological molecules, or in short, biomolecules. Biomolecules, that means substances that are produced by cell and the living organism. Substance that produced by cells and living organism, and it is called biomolecules. They are various in their size and the structure and their biological function. There are four major types of biomolecules. Number one is carbohydrates. Number two is protein. Number three, that is nucleic acids, and number four is lipids. There are four major types of biomolecules. Number one is carbohydrates and protein, nucleic acid and lipids. Carbohydrates and the proteins are essential constituents of our food. The biomolecules are interact with each other and constitute the molecular logic of life processes. Vitamins and mineral salts are played important role in the function of organism. First of all, let's see about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, in a simple word, we can say carbohydrates. Carbohydrate, that means they do not contain water molecule. The carbohydrates are primarily produced by plants. Produced by plants, and they includes glucose, for example, from grape sugar, or fructose from honey, sucrose from cane sugar, or starch from potatoes, and the cellulose from wood. And these all are compounds that composed of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen elements. Carbohydrates that do not contain water molecule, They are primarily produced by plants. They include glucose, fructose, sucrose, starch, cellulose, etc. And they all are composed of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Its general formula is CxH2O bracket over Y. Its general formula CxH2O Y. For example, glucose, and its chemical formula is C6H12O6. Here, as per general formula, here C6 and into bracket H2O. Now for Y is multiplied by 6. So 2 multiplied by 6 is equal to 12, and here the atoms of oxygen are 6. So it is glucose, or its X is also 6 and Y is also 6. Okay, but in exceptional cases like acetic acid, C6 CH3 COOH, its empirical formula C2H4 C2H4O2. As per general formula, here we can write C2H2O. Now it is multiplied by with 2. So here X equal to 2 and Y equal to 2. It fulfills the general formula C6H2O Y, but it is categorized into the acid. It is not carbohydrate. This is the exceptional case. Second example, for rhamnose, its chemical formula is C6H12O5. C6H12O5. Its chemical formula that do not fulfill its general formula, but rhamnose is a carbohydrate, classified into carbohydrate. Okay, is the exceptional case. Acetic acid that fulfills or fit into the general formula C6H2OY, but it is not carbohydrate, and the rhamnose that do not fit into the general formula C6H2OY, but it includes into carbohydrate. Now, what are carbohydrates? Carbohydrates that polyfunctional compound which contain functional group number 1, alcoholic hydroxyl group, alcoholic hydroxy group, bond OH. Number 2, aldehyde group, bond CHO, and number 3, ketone group. Okay, so carbohydrate, it is a polyfunctional compound that contains functional groups like alcoholic hydroxy group, aldehyde group, and ketone group. Now let us see the definition of carbohydrates. Optically active polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketone or the compound which produce such units on hydrolysis. Again, optically active polyhydroxyaldehyde polyhydroxyaldehyde, that means aldehyde which contains more than one or two OH group, or ketones, or the compound which produce units on hydrolysis. Now, optically active compound, that means substance which rotates the plane polarized light. Substance which rotates plane polarized light. So carbohydrate is defined as the optical active polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones or the compound which produces such a units on hydrolysis. For example, here sucrose on hydrolysis that gives glucose and fructose. Carbohydrate referred to as saccharides. Carbohydrate referred to as saccharides. Saccharide, as per Greek word saccharon, that means sugar, or as per Latin word is saccharum, which means also sugar. Sugar, they are sweet in taste. The sugar present in milk is known as lactose. Sugar present in milk known as lactose is important for MCQ also. Sugar present in milk is known as lactose. Two simple carbohydrates that contains three carbon atom. Here the example like glyceraldehyde. Its structure is CH2OH. Okay, so is polyhydroxy aldehyde, because here two hydroxyl group is present and this aldehyde group is polyhydroxy aldehyde. Okay, and the another example is dihydroxyacetone. H2C OH, C double bond O, and H2C OH. So here two hydroxyl group is present and this ketone, it is polyhydroxy ketone. Okay, here the define is optically active, and the polyhydroxy aldehydes or ketone or the compound which produces such units on hydrolysis. The sugar present in milk is known as lactose. Okay friends, so this is the primary concept about carbohydrates. Next time we will discuss the classification of carbohydrates. Thank you very much.